Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining and welcome to our webinar, How to Book Paid Speaking Engagements. Um, I know we're waiting on more people to join, but I just like to kind of get to know everyone and see where, everyone is from. So if you would like to write in the chat where you're from, I'm happy to just shout you out. So where are you guys all tuning in from? And while we're doing that, I'm going to start loading our presentation so we can kind of hop right in. And I'm going to drop some links for you guys. Okay, so we have someone from Minnesota. Welcome, New York. Yeah, I'm very familiar with New York. I spent a lot of time in New York. Right now I'm in Georgia. So if anyone's in Georgia, that is awesome. And let me start sharing my screen so we can hop into the presentation. And thank you all for being here as well. Is everyone able to see my screen now? And let me go to full mode. Okay. All right, you guys. So once again, thank you so much for joining today. This is how to book paid speaking engagements. And my name is Erica McCarthy. I am going to be your host today. I am the founder of My Speakers Boutique, and I am very passionate about helping speakers not only to get on stages, but to get paid when they are on stages and to become paid public speakers. So that is a little bit about me. And the theme of today's webinar, I just want you guys to remember that systems save your business, but a team saves you time and makes you money. So systems save your business, but a team saves you time and makes you money. So if you really want to be successful in the speaking industry, you're going to want to set up systems to sort of automate things, but you want a strong team behind you who can really help you take a lot of the work off of your plate. And that is what my team and I specialize in. So these are just a few of the places that we've booked our speakers. I have been a public speaking booking agent for 7 years. So over the course of those 7 years, we've booked our speakers on many different stages. But you are probably familiar with some of these names. So these are just a few places where our speakers have been booked. And these are our average payouts. So for corporate conferences, for corporate keynotes, for corporate workshops, our pay ranges that we have been able to secure for our speakers have ranged between $5,000 to $25,000. For associations and conferences, those payments usually fall between $2,500 and $10,000. And then for virtual engagements, our payments often are around or between $1,000 to $5,000. So as you can see, there is definitely money to be made in the speaking industry. And imagine, just doing a 1 hour keynote and being paid $10,000. And there's definitely corporations, there's associations, there's many different places that have the budget and have the funds to pay speakers. And, in the presentation, I'm going to show you how you can find those places that pay speakers and pay them well. And one, tip and trick that I'm going to give you is when you're negotiating your fees, always ask for your flight and your hotel to be paid for in addition to your speaking fee. So if they're paying you, let's say $12,000 for a 90-minute workshop, always ask if they can also pay for your flight and your hotel, so that $12,000, the flight and the hotel isn't coming out of your pocket. So that's a little tip. Now, I want to ask you, how long will you let fear mute your speaking opportunities? So many of us as speakers, we don't think we're qualified. We don't think that our topics are good enough. We don't think that the audience will love us, or we don't feel like we have enough expertise. And I'm going to tell you that I have partnered with brand new speakers who have never spoken on a stage. We have an in-house speaking coach that will help you with stage presence and crafting your keynote. And brand new speakers have been paid for speaking events. So don't underestimate yourself. Your voice needs to be heard. Whatever you're teaching, whatever story you're telling, words definitely matter, and you have the power to transform your audience. So even if you're a brand new speaker, we have helped brand new speakers to get paid. I love this Bible verse. It says, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat of its fruit." That's Proverbs 18:21. And so just understand that as a speaker, you are transforming lives, and a speaker has the power to heal the heart. So, um, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Now, I'm going to give you a copy of this presentation after, so you'll be able to see all of my testimonials. But this is one of my amazing client partners. I've booked her on several different engagements, and they've all ranged between $3,000 to $10,000. So it's definitely possible to make, good income in the speaking industry. And I'll let you see her video once I send the email after the presentation. Now, let's get into why everyone is here, and that is how to find paid speaking engagements, how to position yourself as a professional speaker. So, we have to remember, systems save your business, and your team saves you time and makes you money. Okay. So, as you're navigating the speaking industry, you have to have a couple of things in place first before you start reaching out to events. So, the first thing you need is a CRM, which we'll talk about next. You're going to need a speaking one sheet. You're going to need a video reel, a website, a presentation, and a description of your presentation, the takeaways that the audience is going to receive, a free offer or a lead magnet, a way to collect testimonials, and then a paid offer. And the paid offer can be a book, it can be a course, it can be a coaching session with you. So just think about what you would want your paid offer to be. Now, the first thing is a CRM, and a CRM is a customer relationship management tool. And this has literally saved my business. If you don't have a CRM, there's plenty of free ones. You can use HubSpot, you can use Leadific. But what they do is, as you're talking to event planners, you're able to record like their name, their email, notes, different things that they say, such as the budgets or the speaking topics they need. So record all of this information in your CRM. And so if the event planner tells you like, hey, can you give me a call back next week? We're not quite ready to book our speakers yet, but if you call me next week, we can talk numbers and speaking topics and things like that. And so many speakers miss out on opportunities just simply because they do not follow up. So, a CRM is going to help you keep everything organized, and you'll add in that conversation. Event planner told me to follow up next week, and you'll get an email or a text message that will tell you to follow up on the day that you're supposed to follow up. So, if you don't have a CRM or if you're not following up with event planners, you are definitely missing out on paid opportunities and you're missing out on speaking events 100%. So, a CRM, I love numbers and data. And so let's look at how a CRM actually is effective. So, it increases the likelihood of you getting booked as a speaker by 53%. It can boost productivity by 34%. There's an 87% improvement in sales. So just because you use a CRM, you are 87% more likely to improve your sales. And there's a 74% or a 73% improvement in business efficiency. So I highly recommend that you go to a free CRM today and download it so you can start keeping track of notes. Now, the next thing you're going to need is a speaking video. And again, when I send you the email after this presentation, you'll have examples of videos that my team and I have created for our speakers. But if you're doing the video yourself, you want it to be 2 to 4 minutes. You want to have some sort of footage of you speaking. So even if you're not on a stage and you're sitting in front of your camera, that's okay if you're doing it at home. If you have past speaking engagements, you're going to want to highlight those. You want testimonials, and video testimonials are better, but if you have written testimonials, that's okay too to start off with. If you have any books or awards or certifications, you can add those in there. Your speaking topics, and then why should an event planner hire you? So, if you're wanting to speak on big stages, you have to think about the fact that there's a lot of speakers competing for one spot or maybe just a couple of spots. So, an event planner might get 100 emails or 150 speaking applications. So, as you're reaching out, you have to put yourself in the event planner's shoes and think about what are they looking for when they pick a speaker? How can I help them to make their event incredible? Because the only thing the event planner wants to do is to create an amazing event so people come back next year. And so, as a speaker, you have to highlight how you can help make that event amazing with that event planner. So your speaking reel should point to how you can do that. Again, this is another one of my amazing client partners, and I will send you all of the speaking reel examples. Now, the next thing you're going to need is a one sheet. And this is, there's several types of bios or one sheets that you can create. This is a very simple one, and it's just a snapshot of you as a speaker. So it'll have like your bio, your speaking topics, any books, testimonials, how you'll stand out as a speaker, awards, certifications, ways to contact you. So the same thing pretty much as your speaking video, but it's just in sort of a written format. So that's going to be your speaking bio. The next thing is you're going to need a speaking website or just a website page. Oh, let me go back here. Now, the website page can be just a simple page on your existing website that is dedicated to speaking. And again, it highlights testimonials, your bio, speaking videos, a way to contact you, your social media platforms, what you specialize in. Do you specialize in keynotes? Do you specialize in workshops? Are you an MC? So all of that can be listed on your website page. And this is another website that we've created for one of my client partners. So again, if you need any help with a bio or website or social media, we can definitely help you with that, or a video. Now, the last thing before we talk about how to find paid events is you are going to need a really good social media presence. Now, besides going on your website, an event planner is definitely going to look you up on social media. So they're going to look at your LinkedIn. They're going to look at sometimes even Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. And you're going to want to make sure that your social media presence is matching up with whatever you're pitching yourself for. So if you're pitching yourself, as a marriage coach, you want to make sure your social media talks about marriage coaching and how to fix your relationship and things like that. Because if an event planner goes to your social media, like LinkedIn, for instance, and they don't see that it's aligning, it's going to start giving them red flags, and they might not want to move forward with booking you, and they might go with one of the other speakers who has incredible social media and an amazing social media presence. So these are, different social media posts that we have created for our client partners, and we can help you out with social media as well, so that, when an event planner does look you up or Google you, they're able to see that what you're being pitched for is aligning with what's online. And even things like creating LinkedIn articles will help. So if you can just create a couple of LinkedIn articles, that is amazing for when an event planner visits your page. Again, this is another testimonial, and I will send all of this to you. But Timothy, I have booked Timothy on a couple of different paid engagements as well as podcasts. So, like I said, my team and I do specialize in paid engagements. Now, this is a very important slide, because these are places where my team and I have booked our speakers, and every single thing that is listed on this slide, we have had success with. So if you are looking for somewhere today that you can start to look for engagements, this is a very good list to start with. And you can screenshot this, or like I said, I will send you this presentation afterwards. So you'll have this full list as well. Now, the only thing with this list is they definitely are great for finding engagements, but they don't necessarily tell you whether the engagement is paid or not. So, a lot of, what's listed on this list, you're going to have to actually inquire or talk to the event planner to see whether the engagement is paid. So that's the only thing about that list. Now, hashtags are amazing as well. So you can literally go on Google, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and you can type in these hashtags and it'll pull up different events for you. So if you, again, wanted to get started right after this presentation, just start putting in hashtags and into Google or into LinkedIn, like hashtag call for speakers, hashtag call for speakers 2025 or 2026, and you'll start seeing a lot of events pop up. Now, one secret weapon of mine in my business and how my team and I have had a lot of success is that we always do 4 points of contact. Now, when public speakers come to me for help, a lot of times they're frustrated because they'll tell me, Erica, I emailed this event planner a week ago or a month ago, and they've ghosted me. They're not even getting back to me. And what I tell them is 1 point of contact is just not enough. One email is usually not enough. So, as you're reaching out to event planners, I want you to think about how many times you reach out to them. So set up a system where you're reaching out, you're doing an email like every 2 days. Or, if they don't email you back within, let's say, a week, you're doing a phone call or you're connecting with them on LinkedIn. So don't just use email or phone call as your only source to get in contact with event planners. Find them on LinkedIn. Find their phone number, find their website, text them even. A lot of event planners have responded to me via text. So just don't stop at one email or one voicemail because usually that's not enough to get an event planner's attention. And then the next thing to think about is, if you're only reaching out to 10 people a week, chances are you might only get one person that kind of emails you back and they might just say, "Thank you, we're looking into it." So this is definitely a numbers game as you're reaching out. So my recommendation is to reach out to at least 100 people per week. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, so I do have a solution for you, but let's keep going in the presentation. So, a lot of my speakers have told me that, some of their frustrations with the speaking industry is that it's way too competitive. So, like I said in the beginning, you can have 100 speakers competing for the same spot on a stage, right? The speaking industry is extremely competitive. And that's why when you have a team and you have a system, it can help you to beat out the competition, especially, if you have an agent like me who has connections already in the speaking industry, right? My speakers have told me that it's too time consuming to find events, which is very true. So, like I said on the last slide, you can go to Google, you can go to all of those websites that I listed, and you can find events because I've done it. It definitely works, but it's very time consuming to look through all of those events and to figure out which ones would actually be a good fit for you and then to figure out if they actually pay or not, right? My speakers have told me events just don't pay well or they don't pay at all. Or sometimes an event will even want you as a speaker to pay to be on their stage, which is, we don't want that either. They have told me they're ghosted by event planners or, they're with a bureau. So let's say you contact a speaking bureau. A lot of times that bureau is just going to put you on their website and kind of forget about you. They're not going to do outreach for you. They're not going to really be there with you, holding your hand to make sure you get booked. That bureau is just going to kind of put you on their website and kind of hope for the best. But that's what makes us different at My Speakers Boutique because we want to see you succeed as a speaker. We don't want you to waste countless hours looking for events. We want you to know that an event is going to pay you and how much that event is going to pay, right? And we want you to get with the team that already has the connections with event planners so that once we pitch you, it's much easier for them to say yes because they have that trust with us and they've already booked several of our speakers. And so that's why I say a team can help you go farther and faster faster. So that is why I developed Eavesdrop Events. And Eavesdrop Events is my platform that currently has 10,000 speaking opportunities in the platform right now. So these are conferences in the leadership space, corporations, K through 12 schools, colleges, universities, churches, anywhere that you would want to speak is in the database right now. We also have podcasts and we have media contacts. So if you've ever been interested in getting on TV or being interviewed on a news station or a talk show, we have those contacts in our database right now as well. But the thing that makes Eavesdrop's events different is we're not just a database. You can actually connect with an event planner real time. So once an event planner is online, you're going to be able to see that they are online and you're going to be able to video chat with them or DM them immediately, sort of like you can do on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. You can DM someone right away and you can press a little button and video chat with that event planner right now. So, what does that do? That cuts down the time that you have to wait for an event planner to respond to you. So instead of sending an email and waiting weeks or having to send 4 follow-up emails, you can press a button, ask that event planner, hey, do you have a brief moment to chat? And pitch yourself for that event immediately. So imagine how much time that is going to save you. The next thing that Eavesdrop's Events does to make it easier for you to book events is you'll be able to search for any event that you want to find. So instead of going on Google and doing a hashtag call for speakers and just hoping and praying that there's an event that fits your niche, you can literally search for leadership events, search for women's events, search for youth organizations, search for corporations in our database, and all of those events and conferences and contact names will pull up for you. And so you can just focus on reaching out to the event planners that you actually want to reach out to. And then we have a training portal, which has a lot of videos that teach you like how to negotiate your fees, how to get an event to buy bulk copies of your book if you're an author. So it gives you a lot of helpful tips and tricks to help you get paid for as a speaker and position yourself as a professional speaker. So, how many people think that something like that would be highly beneficial? It cuts down the time that it takes for you to find an event, and you're going to connect with an event planner immediately. But it gets better. So, right now in our database, we have events that pay speakers, and the database also tells you exactly how much that event will pay you. So there's no more going on Google and finding an event and just praying that they actually pay their speakers. No, when you log into our database, you'll see this event pays $5,000. This event will pay for your travel. This event will pay for your hotel. And there's event planners that are adding events to our database all the time. So every time an event planner logs on to add events to our database, they have to tell us, is this event paid? Yes or no? How much is this event going to pay? And can you pay for the speaker's travel? Those are mandatory questions that the event planner has to answer. So there's no more guesswork on, will this event pay? Are they going to pay for my travel? How long is it going to take me to connect with the event planner? Will the event planner ghost me? Will they ever get back to me? How long is it going to take for me to book this event? There's no more guesswork with Eavesdrop events. It makes it so easy for you to get booked as a speaker. And like I said, this is our homepage. So there's 10,000 events in our database right now, as well as podcasts, media contacts. And as you log in, this is just a small snippet of the event. So as you can see, you're going to get the name of the event planner, their phone number, their LinkedIn URL, their email address, the location of the event, the industry. So is this event a youth event? Is it a K through 12 school? Is it a business event? Is it a leadership event? All of that is outlined for you, as well as their website. And like I said, many of those events will show you whether that event is paid or not, and how much that event is going to pay you as a speaker. So I think I love this platform for speakers, and my speakers love this platform because it really cuts down on the time that it takes for you to get booked. So not only can you get booked for paid engagements, but you can get booked for more engagements than you could in the past because you're not wasting so much time looking for the right opportunity. So, as you're talking to event planners, let's talk about ways to stand out. Now, these have worked for me so well. So, if you don't listen to anything, I suggest listening to this part because this has helped me to form really solid relationships with event planners. So, the first thing you're going to want to think about is forming relationships so that you're their go-to speaker. So every time that conference or that, association has an event, they think about you first. You want to be top of mind. So some things that I have done for my event planners is I have created an event planner magazine, and I send it's a digital magazine, and I send it to my event planners once a month. So not only does this magazine feature several of our speakers, so this is a way that some of our speakers have gotten paid engagements just by being featured in our magazine, but it also gives the event planner tips and tricks on how to make their event incredible. So imagine the value that I'm giving to this event planner by giving them a magazine that is catered just for them. So, of course, with them receiving this digital magazine every month, they're going to remember me and they're going to say, yeah, Erica, she always sends me this magazine. She always has speakers featured in her magazine. So, why don't I just use some of her speakers for my event? So, what can you do to offer value to the event planner? Can you send them a copy of your ebook? Can you offer a free 15-minute consultation? Can you offer a training video for free? So, how can you give back and be of service to the event planner and form those relationships? The next thing I've done, which has worked very well for my speakers, is let's say my team and I are reaching out to an event and they say, oh, Erica, I'm sorry, we've already picked our speakers for this year. So I say, oh, that's okay. We still want to be of service to you. So how about we mail you 15 copies of my speaker's book? And what this does is the event planner is like floored because they're like, wow, you guys are giving us free gifts, like even though we didn't pick you as a speaker. So of course this starts to solidify a relationship with them. And then what you can tell them is, hey, just give these 15 copies of the book to your VIP guests. So usually VIP guests at an event have paid more to be at that event. So you already know that, they probably have a budget for that event or whatever area that event is in. So if you give these books to the VIP guests, what that does is that can maybe get you some clients. So as they read your book, they love your book, they're going to want to get in contact with you. And this could lead to high ticket clients or high paying clients for you. So this has worked very well for me promoting books for my speakers and also solidifying, relationships with the event planners. I always send my event planners a DM on their birthday or their anniversary, or if I see on LinkedIn that they have a job promotion, I'll just send them a DM and say congratulations or happy birthday. And this they love this because it goes the extra mile. I'll send them Christmas cards or holiday cards. Or I have had my speakers to create a customized video just for that event planner. So they'll go to like the event planner's website or their LinkedIn profile, and they'll point out something that they really liked about that event planner or their profile. And they'll just send a short, like 1 to 2 minute video introducing themselves, and that event planner will be wowed again, and that could lead to paid opportunities. So think about, how can I stand out to event planners so that they think about me first as they're booking events. Now, how to negotiate your fee as a speaker. So there's a couple of things that you're going to want to keep in mind. The first thing that you want to think about is, who are you pitching to? So a corporation is naturally going to have a higher budget than like a nonprofit. So you want to think about that first as you're pitching. How many times have you spoken before? So someone who has spoken on a stage 20 times can ask for a higher fee than someone who is speaking for the first time. Event planners will also tell you whether your fee is too high or too low. So if you're consistently pitching yourself for $12,000 and you constantly are getting no's, think about, okay, maybe I haven't spoken enough times to ask for this amount. So think about lowering your amount a little bit as you're speaking to event planners. And then you can also look on other speakers' websites, because sometimes speakers will post like how much they've gotten paid. So if you want to speak at that same event, you can know that that event at least has that budget because they've paid that speaker that amount before. And then just think about your goals and work backwards. So if you want to make $20,000 this year from an event, think about, okay, I need 2 events that pay $10,000, or I need 5 events that pay $4,000. So you can work backwards and think about your fee that way. And like I said, even if you're brand new to speaking, you can get paid. We have definitely gotten brand new speakers paid engagements before. So when you're speaking to an event planner, think about what you've done that speaks volumes. So have you generated an additional $1 million for your company? Do you have an amazing marriage that people just rave about? Have you won Employee of the Month over and over again? So even if you don't have any speaking experience, what experience do you have that can stand out amongst other speakers? Now, this is a great snapshot. And again, you are going to get this presentation afterwards, so you don't have to write this down. But this is a great starting point of how much you should be asking for as a speaker. So again, fewer than 3 talks. Your range should be between 500 to 2,500. 3 to 8 talks, 5,000 to 10,000, and so on. Now, I will say that this list isn't set in stone, because we've gotten our newbie speakers sometimes more than 25K. Like we've gotten them up to 5K before, plus the event paid for travel. So, don't cut yourself short when you're talking to event planners, but also be reasonable. So this chart helps you to be reasonable as you're talking to event planners and asking for different fees. Now, I get this a lot from speakers, and they say, Erica, I definitely want to get paid, but so far I've only spoken for free. Is it worth my time to speak for free? Now, I am a big advocate for speakers getting paid, and that is why, me and my team, we really work hard if you partner with us to make sure you're getting paid engagements. But not every engagement will pay. Although 90% of the engagements that we book for our speakers are paid engagements, there are about 10% of engagements that just don't pay or they don't have a budget, right? So, if you're still interested, let's say the engagement is local or it's virtual and it's in front of your ideal audience, it can really still be beneficial for you to do that engagement, even though it's pro bono. So one of my speakers, she had a free engagement. It was in her local area, but it was 150 of her ideal clients in that audience. So by the time she was done and she left that engagement, she ended up signing $35,000 worth of new clients just because she did the engagement. So, if the engagement is virtual, if it's in your local area, and if it has your ideal audience, I would recommend, really considering it because it can still be beneficial. Now, if the engagement, if you have to travel, you can ask for the event planner just to pay for your flight and your hotel, especially if it's a place that you want to see. So, if you want to travel internationally to like Dubai or Tokyo or France or Mexico or where have you, look for events in that area. If the event planner says they don't have a budget, ask for your flight and your hotel to be paid for so you can still travel to a place that you want to travel to. You can make an impact, and it's kind of a win-win for everyone. You can also ask an event planner to introduce you to 3 colleagues that they know that could possibly want you to speak. And a lot of times, at least one of those colleagues that they introduce you to will result in a paid engagement. So make sure they introduce you to 3 other people, and that can be in person or on LinkedIn or via email. Um, Ask them if they can buy bulk copies of your book. So if you're an author and this event can afford to buy 100 copies of your book, even though they're not necessarily paying you to speak, you are getting paid on the back end. Or if you just need professional video footage, ask for the event planner to record you speaking and give you that video footage so you can use that to create a professional reel. And if the event has a very large social media following, you can still speak at that event, but just make sure they shout you out on their social media. So maybe this can result in future paid engagements for you or high ticket clients. So even though the event doesn't pay on the front end, there's still benefit a lot of times on the back end if it's in front of your ideal audience. Now we're almost wrapping up, but this is another question that I get a lot from my speakers, and it's, do I need to be an author in order to book speaking engagements and to get paid to speak? And my answer is always no. I have partnered with several speakers who are not authors. They don't have a book. They don't even have a desire to write a book, and they have still booked paid engagements and we have booked paid engagements for them. So you do not need to be an author in order to book speaking events. But what I will say is that being an author can help. So if you are even considering writing a book, I would say go for it, write that book, because as an author, you can oftentimes ask for higher fees. So, if you're not an author, you might get between 5,000 to 7,500 for a keynote. But just because you wrote a book and you can give that book to people in the audience, you can automatically ask for higher fees. And so authors can ask for between 7,500 to 15,000 per keynote just because they wrote a book, especially if the book is valuable and good and it really helps the people in the audience. Um, we already touched on this a bit, but it helps with book sales. So if you're not an author, you can't sell books, right? But a lot of times these events will buy a lot of books from authors. So I've had events that have bought 100 books, 200 books, 300 books for from my speakers. So if you are an author, you can definitely get the event to buy a lot of books, which results in more payments for you. A lot of times, authors just get more bookings because they're an author. So they're looked at as leaders, as thought experts, as thought leaders automatically. And Speaker Flow has found that speakers with books are 3 times more likely to get booked for paid engagements than if you don't have a book. Um, Being an author also gives you more material. So you can turn your 1 hour keynote into a 3 hour workshop, or you can lead a leadership training program that expands on your book. So this can often garner more paid engagements for you. And then the media and TV love authors. They love to feature books. So if you are an author, chances are higher that you'll get booked on more media, more TV, more podcasts, and things like that just because you wrote a book. So, if you are thinking about writing a book, I do recommend it because it can be very beneficial in the speaking industry, but you don't need to be an author to get paid and to become a speaker. And I want to make that very clear as well. You don't have to have a book. I love numbers. I love data, like I said in the beginning. So this is a case study, and a lot of people might know her, but this is Mel Robbins. And before she wrote her book, right, she was just kind of getting mediocre sort of speaking engagements, right? But after she wrote her book, she can now ask for $60,000 plus per keynote just because she wrote a book. So, a lot of times, authors just simply get paid more, right? This is Simon Bailey. He's a Disney executive. And he was still getting paid before he wrote his book. So he was getting between $5,000 to $7,500. But after he wrote his book, he was able to secure $20,000 to $2,500 per or $1,000 per keynote just because he wrote a book. So, being an author really, really does help. So again, how long will you let fear mute your speaking opportunities? I hope so far you've been able to see that you can get paid as a speaker and that there's plenty of opportunity out there. And again, this is another amazing client partner of mine. In his testimonial, I've booked several engagements for him as well. But I'll send you the presentation afterwards. Now, you have all the tools that you need to find your speaking engagement. You have the tools to not only find your engagement, but to get paid, right? Everything in this presentation has led you, if you do what I said and if you follow the steps, you will be successful 100%. But like I said, it takes time. So if you don't have a system, if you don't have a team behind you, this is a very time-consuming process. You will be successful if you follow the steps, but it does take time to find those speaking engagements. It takes time to figure out if those engagements are paid, especially if you're just Googling or you're going on LinkedIn or you're going to those websites that I showed you in the beginning. You're going to have to talk to all of these event planners to figure out whether or not this engagement pays. So it's a very time consuming process. And that is why we are here at My Speakers Boutique and Eavesdrop events, because we like to save our speakers time. We, do everything for you. We can help you negotiate your fees. We have direct connections with event planners and relationships with event planners. So by partnering with us, we can get you booked faster. You're going to have time freedom because you're no longer going to have to look for all of these events yourself. You're going to have access to Eavesdrop events again, which gives you 10,000 events right away as soon as you log in. You'll be able to see when the event planner is online. You'll be able to see exactly how much each event pays. So it just cuts down on the time that you're taking securing these speaking engagements. And of course, this is really what I'm passionate about. Like I said, I have been a speaking agent for 7 years. I absolutely love what I do, and I love helping speakers to get booked on stages. So, if you're going to partner with a team, you want to partner with a team who actually likes what they're doing and is passionate about what we do. And that's what my team and I, we're very passionate. So these are just a couple of other written testimonials. Abraham has been with me for many years. I've secured, now this number is actually a little higher now, but I've secured between 2K up to 20K in speaking engagements for him. Tiffany, I've secured several paid engagements. Alex is a rock star, and we've secured many paid engagements for him. So a team can really help you to not only get paid, but to secure more engagements. And so if you're interested in having a team by your side, these are different ways that you can partner with us. So if you want lifetime access to Eavesdrop events, again, it has 10,000 events right there for you. And you want my team and I to reach out to 400 events per month for 3 months, then this package is for you. And I'll answer questions in just a second, but this package is for you. So you'll get lifetime access to Eavesdrop's events. We will host a virtual Eventbrite event for you and invite event planners to come and see you speak. So imagine 50 to 100 event planners coming to see you speak at a virtual event. Now, this really cuts down on the time that it takes to get you booked, because usually when my speakers do these virtual events, they end up with 2 to 3 paid events right there on the spot. So not only will you have access to Eavesdrop's events, the platform, but we'll reach out to 400 events per month for you personally, and we will host a virtual event for you and invite event planners to come and see you speak. Then we'll do all of the other things as well. We'll create your speaking bio, your video, your social media posts, a website page. We'll book you on 10 podcasts, and we'll help you to turn your keynote into a workshop. And that event planner magazine that I mentioned in the beginning, we will feature you in that magazine, and that magazine is sent out to thousands of event planners each month. So this is one package and one way to partner with me. It is usually 12K, but today only it is 688. $6,888. And we have payment plans to make it easier and more affordable. So with our payment plans with Klarna and Affirm, it's only $243 per month starting. Now, if you did decide to partner with me today, these bonuses you'll get for today only. So we will host the Eventbrite event for you if you book today only. And then we'll create that speaking website page if you book today only. So I will list all of the links in the chat in just a second. Now, another way to partner with me, if you don't need as many items as was listed on the last slide, you can still get 12 months of access to Eavesdrop's events, which has the 10,000 events right now loaded into the platform. My team and I will personally reach out to 200 events per month for you for 2 months. And then we'll create your speaking bio, social media posts for you. We'll book you on 10 podcasts, and we'll promote you in our magazine. So this is usually 8K, but today only it is 4K, and you'll get 12 months of access to Eavesdrop's events. And again, if you book today, we will book you on those 10 podcasts. But after today, this bonus expires. So you won't be booked on the podcasts after today. So that is that package. And then lastly, if you wanted to be a speaker at our conference, a keynote speaker, which we will have at least 300 event planners in the room at this in-person conference, and it's going to be in Atlanta. If you wanted my team and I to reach out to 800 events for you per month for 4 months, 800 per month, if you wanted lifetime access to Eavesdrop's events, we will host 2 additional virtual events for you and invite event planners to come and see you speak. And usually at each virtual event, there's 50 to 100 event planners that show up. You'll have 4 one-on-one consulting calls with me where I will really walk you through how to create a speaking business so that you are constantly booking speaking engagements. I will personally give you a list of 500 companies that have paid my speakers in the past. So you will know how much these companies have paid, and you'll have the direct contact information for the event planners that have paid them. That's 500 paid speaking engagements. And then you'll be invited to our mastermind retreat. We'll have event planners there. We will have a videographer. You'll be able to practice your keynote. We'll have our speaking coach on site. So this is an amazing retreat where you get to connect with other speakers and event planners. And then we'll do all the things like create your speaking bio, your video, your website page, your social media posts, and we'll book you on 20 podcasts, and we will feature you in our magazine. So this is an incredible offer. This is easily a 45K value, but today only it is 18K if you decided to partner with me. So that you have literally everything you need to book your next paid engagement. And I like to give away gifts. So if you would like to download, and this is completely free, this is a speaker's guide to booking paid engagements. So it dives deep and it teaches a lot of what I taught you on this webinar, but it also dives a little bit deeper and gives you even more tips and more tricks to get booked and get paid. So I highly recommend downloading this. It is completely free. And again, I will send you an email with all of the links. So if you can't click on this link now or scan it now, I'll send you an email shortly with all of the links. So thank you so much. If you had any questions, you can go to my website, myspeakersboutique.com, or you can reach out to me at hello@myspeakersboutique. And I am going to stop sharing and I can open it up for any questions if anyone had some questions as well. Okay, I think I see. Okay. Okay, you're welcome, Wendy. Okay, how come you can't find me on Instagram? Well, I can put my Instagram. I'll drop it in the chat for you in just a second. But did anyone else have any more questions? If not, I am going to send you all an email that literally has everything that we discussed. It'll have a copy of this recording. So you'll be able to, go over it again and review it so that you can start booking paid engagements. And I'm going to go ahead and drop each of the plans in the chat. So if you guys were interested in kind of joining one of those plans, you can. But I'm still happy to answer questions if you guys have them.
Erica, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I just wanted to say thank you for your presentation. I didn't quite get your intro at the beginning, but I came in like, enough to enjoy your presentation. And I just wanted to say thank you for, taking the time to give us the information. I
Sure.
actually I'm in the industry of security slash retail management, all that stuff. That's my background, supervising for security. So I have 27 years of security. And the reason
That's
why I
amazing.
decided that I'm interested in becoming a speaker is because I really enjoy, training and speaking to people. I think that's a specialty that I have,
Oh.
communicating, and I have no experience in the speaking industry, but what
Mhm,
I do plan on doing is possibly, taking some communication courses. Maybe I can get a degree in communications. So that would be my question to you. Do you recommend for us as speakers, is it helpful? Is it necessary to be impactful in the industry to continue our education? And also, because I did miss your background, did you
mhm,
share what is like your educational background? Do you have a degree? And I did hear you say you've been speaking for 7 years. So I did
mhm.
hear you say that, but I want to know if you do have a degree in communications, and or how did you go about,
Yes, great questions. And first of all, congrats on being in your industry for so long. Well, to answer your question, I don't have a degree in communications, but I have been in the speaking industry for 7 years, booking
Mhm,
speakers for events and, forming connections with conference organizers, event planners, and people like that. But I think that all the education that you can get is very great. You don't necessarily, have to have a degree in communications, but if that's your passion, I say go for it. But the speaking industry is constantly evolving, constantly changing. And you always want to work on your stage presence and your delivery and your communication style. So I think it's brilliant that you're going for that. We also
mhm.
have an in-house coach, who, is amazing, and he'll also help you with communication, stage presence, crafting your keynote, and things like that as well. So yeah, I think what you're doing, you're definitely on the right track for sure. Congrats for that.
Well, like I said, this was it was so interesting. I I recently like got injured at work, and they actually let me go before I started my claim. So I'm actually
Oh,
unemployed and can't work kind of right now. But
mm,
I'm, still seeking work. And when you
mm,
have a lot of time on your hands, you're kind of thinking like, what do I do now? Like, what do I do now? Like, what can I get into? And also,
mm.
like, I have to wait for my disability to kick in. I don't qualify for unemployment, so it's pretty scary for me right now.
Oh,
And
I'm
so,
sorry.
what I'm getting at is like I was just, brainstorming in my head. What am I passionate about? What am I good
Mm,
at? I've always wanted to be a trainer, like for a company, training people,
yes,
be
yes,
doing like orientations. They always need
yes.
someone to do the orientation, and I've always wanted to be the one to do the training, to teach a class. So, I'm thinking also about going to human resources, because human resources opens up those doors. And then if I become a, a, a trainer for a company, then that's going to set me up for, success. Like, I'll start speaking, doing orientations and hosting
Yes.
orientations. And then from there, can, you know, hopefully, use my money to get on your team.
Yeah, no, I love that. Well, first of all, I'm sorry for, everything that you're going through, and my prayers are to you.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. So, two things that you said are so good. So the first thing is, as an HR professional, you're definitely going to have to speak in front of people.
Yeah.
So, public speaking isn't always like on a big stage. It can be in a corporate office or with your team. team.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good field to get into to hone your speaking skills. And then the second thing is there's a ton of events for HR professionals.
Yeah.
So once you get into that industry, just contact me. I'm gonna send everyone an email, and I will actually give you some events like for free that want HR professionals because it's a really in demand industry, and they the conferences love HR professionals. So I would yeah, I think it's great that you're heading in that direction for sure.
Yeah, I definitely gonna need like some more like, like basically I need to like a special kind of payment plan because like I said, because of my circumstances, I'm not don't mean to put all my business out there, but that's how driven I am. And anything that I could offer, like you said, offering my services. So if there's an event that you want to promote your group, like let's say hypothetically you want to promote your team and you need it someone to impact that event and you wanted someone to speak at something, and beneficial to your team, or you need someone on the back end to make phone calls or whatever you need. Maybe I could work on your database team, contacting, these events to get, your team more work. I'm willing to work for my package.
Well, yeah, we can kind of talk about it. Right now, I don't have a setup like that, but I'm always flexible and always open for like partnerships and things like that. So when I send you, the email, we can definitely like set up a call or a time to kind of
Yes.
talk about it more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
so much for
No,
that.
no, for real. I mean, I'm the type of person, I'm a go-getter, and I don't know. I'd say I'm allergic to the word no. And and so my goal is like I want to create, like t-shirts. I'm going to have merch. So I'm
Yes.
inspired by the information, like to write a book, and then I'm going to have merch,
Oh,
so
I love it.
yeah, that's don't be stealing my ideas, people. But yeah, I'm allergic to the word no. So that what that means is I don't like hearing the word no, and that disempowers me and it makes me even more driven. And even when I fall, sometimes it's hard at first, losing a job, you go through depression, you start blaming yourself, and it's it impacts you, and you have to still be strong and keep going, especially if you have to support your family. And I am a single mom, and I have an amazing daughter, and I'm
Mm.
grateful for that because I have two kids. One is not as amazing, but I'm still trying to be there for him, and I want to show my children that your mom will never give up, and she'll keep trying. She'll get back. She'll fall, she'll get back up, and that's going to be part of my story. And I don't know, I just know
Yes.
I have a purpose.
Absolutely. You definitely have a purpose. We all have a purpose. And the fact that you're teaching your kids like, triumph and victory despite your obstacles, resilience. Yeah, that's amazing. Those are all life skills that they'll need in the future. That they're learning for you. So I think that's incredible. Kudos.
Hmm.
Thank you so much. So yeah, we can definitely connect. Once I send the email. But did anyone else have any more questions? If not, you guys will be getting an email from me shortly.
Are you the only speaker in this? So what we sign up for today, are you the only speaker?
Yeah, yeah. So it was just me teaching a webinar on how to
Okay,
book paid engagements. Yep.
that's awesome. So someone hired you to do this free event, or you hosted it yourself to generate income for your team?
Well, I host these events myself, and a lot of it is to really give back to people, but also, of course, on the back end, there's income. But everything that I taught you, actually use to book paid engagements. So, before I created this database, I was going out there in the trenches and finding engagements for my speakers. So literally, if you follow like what I taught you, that's literally the blueprint and what I did to book paid engagements before I created this database. So it's really to help people and speakers and leaders, to be able to book engagements for themselves. So,
Hmm. I know you
yes.
got to save the world, but I just wanted to say this. I told my girlfriend, so she, a lot of these people out here, they think, I'm not saying I'm not against it, but social media, people are making a lot of money on social media, and she's trying to create a social media platform. And I always like to give information, and I invited her to come to this event. I wasn't sure if it was like in person or whatever, but I was open to going where it was at. And I'm grateful that it was at home because of my situation and time. I mean, I literally today I have an interview online, a virtual interview. That's what's amazing about this industry. We're starting to be interviewed at home, and
Yes.
that's so much convenient. You don't have to deal with traffic. You don't have to worry about, like,
Mhm.
yeah, it makes it
Yes.
easier. And so, like I said, I have, when I get off the call with you, I got to go read research about this company and learn as much information before my interview at 2:30, and then I'm supposed to be at the
Yes.
doctor today at 2. I don't know how I'm gonna do all this in
Yeah.
one day.
You
Yeah.
have a busy day.
And,
Well, yes, best of luck with your interview. Just by talking to you, I know that you're gonna do very well. So best of luck with your interview. And we'll definitely connect more. And
yeah,
so yeah,
thank
so
you
I'm gonna
again.
mhm.
Yeah, thank you
Yes,
again for your
thank
time.
thank you so much. And I hope everyone else has a great day. Thank you guys for joining. And bye
Yeah, you're
bye.
rating.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.